Today I've got two trash to treasures and my Plaid Ambassador box unboxing. I recorded these a while back but never got around to editing, but I wanted to make sure to do it today because I'm joining the Save Our Earth playlist hosted by the Purple Pixie Creations and co-hosted by Indiana Jones. Their links and the link to the playlist will be in my description box below. If you're new to my channel, could you consider subscribing? And also, if you would leave a like and a comment down below, it would really help my channel grow. DIY number 1.
What did Plaid send to me to play with? Oh my god, look at all this stuff. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, I don't want to read it. I just want to open it up and look. Yay! Okay, my doggo, she won't move. She just wants to stay right there. What do we got? What do we got? Oh, good, because I have about this much left in my other one. I will need this. Oh, look at Indiana Jones. She loves her. What is this thing called? Brayer? Yeah. Looking forward to using that. What else do I got here? Satin finish Mod Podge. Haven't used that yet. Yay, the dishwasher safe kind. I just had this in my cart too. Yes. What else? And another. Well, this is the gloss kind. Yes, the Mod Podge all over. Ooh, some new pretty brushes. Glass painting. And these are just flat synthetic. I got paints, y'all. Look at the paints. Now I don't have to steal my kids' paint. Well, I'll probably still steal her paint. Folk art. Seashell pink. It says folk art multi-surface Cayman blue. Ooh, pretty. Delta Ceram Coat Lost Lagoon. See here, folk art blue lullaby. Oh, lots of blues it looks like in here. Ooh, brushed metal gold. Oh, that'll be fun. Some apple barrel flag red. Palmetto from Ceram Coat. More apple barrel. Bright yellow. Folk art, multi-surface, light lavender. I think they're telling me they want me to make something springy with all of this. What's this? Calypso. Oh, it's not focusing. Calypso Sky. Ooh, that's a pretty color. Bright blue apple barrel. Folk art, daybreak. Some standard white from apple barrel. More brushed metal. Brushed silver. More Ceram Coat. I like this stuff too. Surfboard. That's a pretty color. Folk art. Vivid orange. Some standard black from apple barrel. Can't go wrong. Always need black. Aqua from folk art. Moon yellow. Multi-surface folk art. Multi-surface bright green. And finally, candid coral Ceram Coat. All right. I am so excited. I am mostly excited, especially for the Mod Podges, for the different Mod Podges. And paint, because you know what? I have like just a handful of Plaid brand paints, and they're just like standard colors. So I'm excited to play with some of these bright, springtimey, summertimey things. So
Getting into the trash of treasures, I have all of my Plaid products in this little basket here. Just debating on what I'm going to use for these projects. Like I said earlier, I got all this stuff a while back, but I just never got around to getting the video done. So I've got lots to play with, and from the time I've filmed this, I have used some of these products. I think you saw in my farmhouse video, I'll link in the cards, I did use that dishwasher safe Mod Podge. But I think I don't remember what I use in this video, honestly. So yeah, I'm taking 3 boxes and some tubes from like paper towel rolls, and I'm going to use those in the first project that I make for this video today. So I've got my 3 boxes and my tubes from, it was like a aluminum foil. But I thought it would be really cool to try to make a tiered tray out of these items. And I wrestled with how to get it all done. And I decided that, well, I'll cut this roll down in half, make a 3-tier tray out of it. And I'm going to cover the boxes with contact paper, and then I'm going to paint the tubes. Now, I was going to leave it all the contact paper, so I stained some Jenga blocks with just paint and water, because at that time I didn't have any stain to use as like the base, the riser part, I guess, the bottom. I glue them to the bottom. And I do just speed through this process. This is my fail, but I'm going to show you anyway how it turns out. So yeah, I go ahead and I cover this with contact paper. And like I said, I debated I was going to just leave it the wood, but you guys have heard me talk about this. I don't like the color of this contact paper. Now I'm going to try and get the updated version of it. It's a little, I don't know. I think it looks a little better than this one does. And I've had this contact paper for years, so it's really just old and dated. But I wanted to go ahead and use it up anyway. So I tape the edges of the boxes to make them smooth, and I just measure them out on the contact paper to use it up. And I cover them entirely with the contact paper. And I just wrap them up like presents, I guess. So my lesson learned with this project, the tube, it didn't work out so well. You need a surface that's like fluted, I guess it is, or flat for these, to make a tier. So I can take these boxes the way they are and use different things instead of those tubes to hold it together as a tier tray. I have since taken it all apart and I'm going to reconstruct it. So I use this nifty new brayer. I don't remember ever using one of these before. And I'm going to use the brayer and the scraper together to help get my contact paper on. And this stuff gave me a fit. The paper was tearing, so I'm just using my brayer to make sure I can get, the air pockets out as best I can. I think by this point I already decided, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and paint this. Excuse me. So I wanted to make sure I had as much of the air out of as possible. And as you can see, I just speed through this process. Yeah, it was just such a pain. So I have all 3 of them covered now, and I just used hot glue to assemble the tubes. Again, like I said, not the optimal way to do this. So I cut it in half, and I thought I was going to cover it, but I decided I was just going to paint it. So I'm just using the apple barrel white. That's what I'm going to use to paint the tubes and the rest of it. I don't remember if I used the the whole, yeah, maybe I do. I can't remember if I used the apple barrel white to cover the whole thing. I do have, it's also Plaid. It's painter's palette that you can pick up at Family Dollar. And I don't know if they're going to be still carrying that once they switch to the Dollar Tree stuff, but either way, it's basically the same color. It's just white. And it's still Plaid. So I'm going to use some of these new brushes that they sent me. These, they said there was, I think they said it was synthetic, but they feel so good. I mean, they feel so real. And I don't remember which brush I'm using, if it was the 4 or the 6. I think that was the numbers. So I'm just painting these white. So I've got them painted, and here I am just assembling. I glue these blocks to the bottom in you know, L shape, reverse L shape in the corners to just lift it off the ground. And then they're not even. I was just kind of going along with the little, you know, whatever little dips were in the box itself. Just kind of going along and gluing those down with hot glue. And so I just kind of measured out, get my center, which was not as easy as I'd hoped. I had a little bit of a struggle with it, but so I just get to the center on all the boxes and I glue them all down with hot glue. And again, not the optimal way to do this. They needed to have a flat top and a flat bottom to distribute the weight evenly. Once I put it all together and it sat and dried and I, you know, everything was painted, I realized that it was a little wobbly, but once I had, you know, after the video was done and everything else, I ended up taking it apart and I had some candlesticks that I just set them on and that worked so much better. So lesson learned, don't use paper towel tubes. It will be wobbly. DIY number 2. For my other project, I'm using these little mini Coke cans. They were like, I don't know, 6 or 8 ounce. But I'm going to paint them and turn them into little planters. I used a, you know, can opener and it gave me a really smooth edge on these. So there's a tip for your cans, your soda cans, to cut the top off with your can opener and it'll leave a nice smooth top on there. At least I think so. It did on those. And I just printed these little French farmhouse labels off from, I think it was the Graphics Fairy, and I did them on tissue paper. It was the first time I tried it, so I wasn't really sure how it would turn out. But after my cans are painted, I'm going to like decoupage them on to each one. I've since learned some tips on doing this with an inkjet printer. It seems like Plaid Mod Podge, it doesn't really work with an inkjet, but I think I figured out a hack for that. I don't have a laser printer. I'm not going to buy a laser printer, but I still want a decoupage, so so I'm painting these with the Apple Barrel white paint. And I'll just go ahead and jump to when I have them done. Alright, I've got them all painted and I did seal them up with a layer of Mod Podge to set the paint or whatever. And so here I'm going to select and cut out my little labels to put down on there. Alright, I'm going to fly through this process. So what I did was I put a layer of Mod Podge down on top of the cans wet. And I'm going to press that printed tissue paper down onto it. This helps keep that ink from running, which is what happens if you use Mod Podge over stuff printed from your inkjet printer. It will not work like it does with laser printed items. So I'm just throwing that layer of Mod Podge down, pressing those down onto it, and the tip is let it dry that way. Don't mess with it after that. Don't put another layer of anything over it. And I learned while doing this that it will still bleed even if you have another layer of paper or anything else over top. Just press it down onto that wet Mod Podge and let it dry. It will seal it up perfectly fine. No worry. Now I've got a riser that I'm putting together. I have this block I picked up from a thrift store. I have no idea what it's for, but I'm taking these wooden beads, not beads, there's no holes. Didn't realize when I got them. But I'm just going to take these and just glue them on each, in 4 corners of my little wood block there. And they're going to be the riser that I put my planters on. So I'm just going to hot glue these down. I think I do my paint stain with these. Yeah, I do. And yeah, I'll just use those to glue down on the corners and use as a riser. And here I'm taking some jute twine and just tying around the tops of the cans, make a little bow in the front, just giving it that a little bit of a rustic look by, like cutting it off. So they're just kind of a little bit of fringe or whatever hanging there. So I'm going to do that to the other 2. So here I'm just hot gluing those little paint stained wooden beads to the corners of my wood block that I'm using as a riser for the little planter cans. Now I'm just stuffing my favorite little lavender picks into the cans. These are probably one of the things I use the most in these videos because, it's lavender, so yeah. I just love it. Here's how those little planters look. I'm pretty happy with this one. Definitely a pass in my book. I could probably change it up a little bit. Maybe expand on this idea a little more. But I think it worked out pretty well. Here's the tier tray finished. It looks cool, but yeah, I had to play a balancing act to make sure it all stayed together. In theory, yeah, it's a good idea. Execution, not so much. So I'm calling this one the fail. With some tweaking, it could definitely be a pass. Thanks again to the Purple Pixie Creations and Indiana Jones for this awesome challenge. I'm always putting together stuff that's trash to treasure, and I love that I have a playlist that I can share this kind of stuff on. So make sure that you go check out all of the people who participate in the challenge. Again, their links and the link to the playlist will be in the description box below. Go give everybody likes and comments and subscribes and all the YouTubey goodness. Thanks for stopping by and watching. Take care, y'all. Bye.